Let's bring in Congressman Chuck Edwards, Republican from North Carolina. Congressman, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Your state's governor, Josh Stein, on Tuesday, again criticizing ICE agents' tactics. Here's what he said.
They're operating in the shadows. They're driving around Charlotte in unmarked cars, wearing paramilitary garb, masks, stopping people on the street randomly based on the color of their skin.
He also says he reached out to the White House and CBP and is not getting enough information about the plans, a lack of transparency. I'm hearing that a lot from North Carolina lawmakers. What do you make of the governor's objections here?
Well, I certainly do not agree with his characterization of what's taking place. The information that I have is that ICE and the Customs and Border Patrol have a very targeted list of folks that they're looking for. And I think the thing that we need to recognize out of this is that there are consequences for open border policies, as we've seen under the Biden administration. Now we're dealing with a criminal element that must be removed from the United States.
But much of the data coming out of North Carolina shows that crime has come down.
Yeah, but look at what it's come down from. We have sheriffs, for example, around the state that have refused to cooperate with ICE, creating a sanctuary for the illegal element. Folks in North Carolina deserve better. They deserve to be able to walk out on the street, to be able to get on a subway, to be able to take their families to parks without the fear of the criminal element that's out there, in addition to the fact that we have so many drugs pouring into this country. And I know a lot of the folks that are on the list that Border Patrol are looking for are accused of bringing fentanyl into our neighborhoods.
Is that information being sent over to the governor and mayors in North Carolina?
You'd have to ask the governor and the mayors. I'm not sure what they have been the recipient of.
Fair enough. Tensions have been rising over these raids. There are sources who are telling NewsNation that local Charlotte police are aware of a $50,000 bounty for Operation Charlotte's web agents. No comment yet from the DHS. We did reach out to them. But Congressman, what are you hearing on Capitol Hill when it comes to threats on ICE?
I only know what I see reported in the media, and quite frankly, I'm not sure how much of that I can believe. There certainly are contradictive stories around the country. I applaud the president for keeping his promise and closing our border, and now we are faced with the element that has been allowed into this country over the last 4 years. We should learn a lesson from this. The open door policies create much more of a dangerous atmosphere for our citizens, and families deserve to be able to go outside or get on a subway or a bus and not fear for their life.
Congressman Chuck Edwards, we appreciate your time this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
The end of the shutdown data blackout could pull back the veil of the true state of our economy. What investors on Wall Street are watching for and what it could mean for you, your retirement funds, and your everyday finances. Plus, new steps to dismantle the Department of Education. We're going to show you how the president is working with Education Secretary Linda McMahon to offload billions of dollars of programs and how it could impact your child's school. And you are taking a live look at Baraboo, Wisconsin. Beautiful, beautiful area. I've never heard of it. Love to visit, courtesy of EarthCam. We'll be right back.
250 years ago, a promise was made to connect families and friends near and far. How we deliver has changed, but our purpose hasn't, especially during the holidays. It's the peace of mind knowing your love arrives, the reliability and the affordability that ensures no one's left out of the holiday magic. For centuries, that promise has been kept, bringing peace of mind holiday after holiday. The United States Postal Service, delivering since 1775.
When investing leads to questions, JP Morgan Wealth Management has powerful tools, research from expert analysts, and a single view of your banking and investing accounts right in the Chase mobile app. When you want to take control of your financial future, the answer is JP Morgan Wealth Management.
Gold Bond believes touch says everything. It says, I see you. I feel you. And I know you. Gold Bond. Get in touch with irresistibly touchable skin.
Even on an antidepressant, I was masking my depression. I felt I was missing out on the moments around me. So my doctor prescribed Rexulti.
When added to an antidepressant, Rexulti was proven to significantly reduce depression symptoms, more than an antidepressant alone.
She said Rexulti could provide a boost. For me, less depression meant enjoying the little things.
Elderly people with dementia-related psychosis have increased risk of death or stroke. Antidepressants may increase suicidal thoughts and actions and worsen depression in children and young adults. Call your healthcare provider right away to report new or sudden changes in mood, behavior, thoughts, or feelings, or if you develop suicidal thoughts or actions. Report fever, stiff muscles, and confusion, which can be life-threatening, or uncontrolled muscle movements, which may be permanent. High blood sugar can lead to coma or death. Weight gain, increased cholesterol, unusual urges, dizziness on standing, falls, seizures, trouble swallowing, or sleepiness may occur.
Could a boost help you build on your progress?
Ask your doctor about adding Rexulti.
Imagine this banana is a Byrna less lethal launcher, capable of shooting rock-hard kinetic and tear gas mixed with pepper chemical irritants.
The ammo can incapacitate an attacker from 60 feet away without causing death.
This Byrna less lethal launcher is legal in all 50 states. No permits required.
Over 600,000 Byrna pistol launchers have been sold to government agencies, law enforcement agencies, and to private citizens.
Do you want to know what the Byrna less lethal launcher looks like? Visit Byrna.com.
Ah, the holiday fruitcake, the gift of a brick. Disguised as dessert. But a gift from nuts.com that says, let's get this ho-ho holiday started. Sweet and salty, festive and delicious. Make their sugar plum taste buds dance with delight. Or stuff their stocking with the greatest hits. It's a snacktacular sleigh load of flavor. Share your holiday your way with something special from nuts.com and get 20% off plus free shipping.
Happy Wednesday morning. Wall Street's week is off to a rocky start as fears of an AI bubble continue to swell. Two of the so-called Magnificent Seven, those are major tech stocks, they were downgraded by financial services firm Rothschild & Company Redburn. These stocks account for nearly 40% of the S&P 500. NewsNation's Alicia Nieves is on Wall Street with the latest. Good morning, Alicia. What could this slump mean for the markets?
Yeah, good morning, Henna. Listen, it's been a rough week for Wall Street and investors here. Some saying this is a healthy correction from the record highs that we have seen over the last couple of weeks, but others say this could be a sign, a warning sign of kind of the economic uncertainty and trouble to come. Just look at how markets closed yesterday. You had the Dow slide and close lower by about some 500 points. The S&P 500, that notched its longest losing streak that we have seen since August. Both of these major averages closing lower for the fourth straight day, only to be beat by the NASDAQ, that reporting its fifth negative day in about 6 sessions. But the big question for a lot of people, especially those looking at their 401ks right now, is could this losing streak end today? Does it deepen? A lot of eyes looking to the earnings report from tech giant and chip maker NVIDIA to answer that question. Reports from analysts are showing these latest earnings could result in a market swing of about $320 billion in either direction, depending on the chip maker's forecast for AI. This $5 trillion company is seen as a bellwether for artificial intelligence, and there's a lot of concern over the last couple of weeks that's been building that we may be seeing an AI bubble that is about to pop. That is part of the reason why particularly tech stocks have been lower in the last couple of days, but it's also a part of the reason why also is related to the concern about the economic uncertainty right now, the growing affordability crisis that's being talked about more and more.
The Fed's inaction or slow reaction time to that uncertainty is showing its sort of ugly face right now. Them deferring their decision to cut interest rates when they've telegraphed their intention to cut interest rates could be devastating on the market. And by the way, the market sell-off right now is the market's way of telling the Fed, don't you do it, don't you defer that decision.
Yeah, so NVIDIA earnings, those are going to happen later on today. We'll get those numbers. And then about 24 hours from now, the market's really going to be looking toward that September jobs report. The first major economic data from the federal government since it reopened will drop, and that'll give the Fed a better picture of the labor market picture, potentially help it make that decision for a December rate cut, Hannah.
Alicia Nieves outside the New York Stock Exchange this morning. Thank you, Alicia. We're half past the hour, and here's a look at the top stories we're following this morning. The bill to force the release of the Epstein files is heading to the president's desk. Only one person voted against the measure in the House on Tuesday. The Senate unanimously agreed to adopt the measure immediately. President Trump previously opposed the release, but now says he'll sign the bill, and he has nothing to hide. A federal court says Texas Republicans' new congressional redistricting map is unconstitutional. The map was drawn to give House Republicans a boost in next year's midterm elections. Judges, however, say racial discrimination was at play. Several other states are also seeing redistricting efforts from both parties. And let's take a live look at Capitol Hill this morning. A new bipartisan bill aims to ensure air traffic controllers and other FAA workers will get paid during future government shutdowns. The next funding deadline is coming at the end of January. Also today, senators will hold a hearing to discuss the impacts of the 43-day shutdown on aviation. The Trump administration is taking major steps in its plan to dismantle the Department of Education, offloading billions of dollars in grant programs to other federal agencies. Education Secretary Linda McMahon saying this helps ensure your tax dollars go to a world-class education system. But the move was met by a small protest outside department headquarters. Nick's tracking the latest on these agreements and what comes next now, Nick. Good morning.
Good morning, Hannah, and good morning to all of you at home. What comes next, Hannah, is what we need to do, which is watch and see. For years, President Trump has said he wants the Education Department as small as legally possible. Now we're getting the clearest sign yet of what that may look like. The administration just announced its new plan that transfers several of the Education Department's responsibilities to other agencies, including Departments of Labor, State, and Health and Human Services. Education Department officials will still have legal oversight on paper, but those 6 agencies will run major K through 12 and college grants, some Indian education programs, foreign medical school reviews, and child care grants for student parents. Hours before the signing, Education Secretary Linda McMahon posted a clock is ticking video online featuring President Ronald Reagan urging Congress to dissolve the department and President Trump promising to shut it down as quick as possible. During an August interview here on NewsNation's The Hill, Secretary McMahon defended shifting power to the states while keeping national testing in place.
What I hear mostly is, please tell me that as we put education back to the states, which is, of course, my mandate, that we will not get away from having NAEP scores and the research that we can all rely on to make sure that we're doing the right things in our state.
A handful of protesters showed up outside the Education Department's headquarters, including former employees who say the Trump administration's move is part of a long-range plan to dismantle federal safeguards.
I'm here to make sure that the folks inside remember that people do care about the Education Department, that their attempts to dismantle it are illegal, and that those of us who used to work here are going to fight to make sure that that doesn't happen.
Hundreds of jobs have already been cut at the department over the last year. Legal scholars say Congress still decides whether offices like civil rights and special education can be moved or shut down, and courts will have to sort out how far these transfers can go. And Hannah, to be clear, for families, federal dollars won't just disappear overnight, but over the next school year, districts, colleges, and tribal communities may find themselves dealing with new federal gatekeepers and fewer specialists left inside the Education Department.
Yeah, a lot of parents keeping an eye on this, rightfully so. Nick Smith, thank you so much. Could the criminal case against the former head of the FBI collapse before it even gets going? What James Comey's attorneys are expected to argue in the courtroom today. And could it be enough to get the charges against him tossed? And we want to see your morning in America. Show us how you start your day. Share a photo or video with us. Bill shared this video with us from his visit to New York City, saying watching the runners while strolling in Central Park is the perfect fall morning. It really looks like a beautiful day in the Big Apple. Bill, hit us up on social media. Tag us on X and Facebook at NewsNation, Instagram at NewsNation Now, or post with the hashtag #MyMorningInAmerica.
I told myself I was okay with my moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis symptoms.
With my psoriatic arthritis symptoms. But just okay isn't okay.
And I was done settling.
If you still have symptoms after trying Humira or Enbrel, Rinvoq works differently. Rinvoq is a once-daily pill that can rapidly relieve joint pain, stiffness, and swelling, as fast as 2 weeks for some. And even at the 3-year mark, many people felt this relief. Rinvoq can stop joint damage, and in PSA, can leave skin clear or almost clear.
Rinvoq can lower ability to fight infections. Before treatment, test for TB and do blood work. Serious infections, blood clots, some fatal. Cancers including lymphoma and skin, serious allergic reactions, GI tears, death, heart attack, and stroke occurred. CV event risk increases in age 50 plus with a heart disease risk factor. Tell your doctor if you've had these events: infection, Hep B or C, smoked, are pregnant, or planning. Don't take if allergic or have an infection.
Done settling?
Ask your rheumatologist for Rinvoq.
And take back what's yours.
AbbVie could help you save.
When investing leads to questions, JP Morgan Wealth Management has powerful tools, research from expert analysts, and a single view of your banking and investing accounts right in the Chase mobile app. When you want to take control of your financial future, the answer is JP Morgan Wealth Management.
Entyvio is the only gut-focused treatment for moderate to severe Crohn's and UC. Gut-focused Entyvio works right where you need it to block inflammation in your gut. With a legacy of more than 10 years, Entyvio offers the experience you need, lasting relief and steroid-free remission. And some people experience rapid symptom relief. Infusion and serious allergic reactions can happen during or after treatment. Entyvio may increase risk of infection, which can be serious. Although unlikely, PML, a rare brain infection that can result in death, cannot be ruled out. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, sores, or are prone to infections. Liver problems can occur. With Entyvio, you may be able to pay as little as $5 per dose. Ask your doctor if Entyvio, including the Entyvio pen, is right for you.
Gut-focused Entyvio.
I wish I could just watch live sports at home for a great price.
Sleep lets you do that. Swing lets you do that.
Choose and customize your channel lineup. Or pause and watch for free. Sling lets you do that. Base package required.
My moderate to severe Crohn's symptoms kept me out of the picture. Now I have Skyrizi.
I've got places to go and I'm feeling free. Controlling my Crohn's means everything to me. Control is everything to me.
And now I'm back in the picture. Feel significant symptom relief at 4 weeks with Skyrizi, including less abdominal pain and fewer bowel movements. Skyrizi helped visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. And with Skyrizi, many were in remission at 12 weeks, at 1 year, and even at 3 years.
Don't use if allergic. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and TB. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's.
Now's the time to take control of your Crohn's.
Control is everything to me.
Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's disease.
Happening today, a high-stakes showdown in a Virginia court as former FBI Director James Comey looks to get his federal charges thrown out. This hearing comes as the DOJ fights to keep grand jury records sealed after a judge ruled prosecutor Lindsay Halligan may have tainted the grand jury process. NewsNation's Tom Dempsey has the latest from outside the court in Alexandria, Virginia. Tom, good morning. What can we expect from today's hearing?
Hey, Hannah, good morning from Northern Virginia, where this hearing will kick off in about 90 minutes or so inside this courthouse with former FBI Director James Comey and his legal team hoping to get the charges against him dismissed. So a lot riding on this case later today, but interesting timing with all this because just this week, a federal judge really tore into the prosecution, as we saw with that headline that you showed, with that judge pointing to possible misconduct by former White House aide and now acting U.S. Attorney Lindsey Halligan, who's leading this case. The judge writing, quote, "The record points to a disturbing pattern of profound investigative missteps that led an FBI agent and a prosecutor to potentially undermine the integrity of the grand jury proceeding." In a 24-page order, the judge listed almost a dozen findings of possible misconduct, including the prosecution's, quote, "cavalier attitude towards Comey's legal rights, as well as possible errors when presenting evidence and instructing grand jurors." The judge saying these points lead to a, quote, "reasonable basis for Comey's team to challenge the whole case." But of course, Comey faces charges of making a false statement to Congress and obstruction of justice. This all stems from testimony Comey gave in 2020 in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee about the FBI's handling of the investigation into alleged Russian collusion with the Trump campaign during the 2016 presidential election. Prosecutors claim Comey lied about authorizing leaks to reporters. But since this indictment came down, Comey has said he will fight back against this case, claiming that President Trump has gone after him for being a political opponent after he criticized the president and also led the investigation into alleged Russian election interference. Comey has pleaded not guilty in this case and maintains his innocence. Henna, as we said, a lot riding on this case because if Comey and his legal team prevail, it could lead to all these charges against him being thrown out. Henna?
Tom Dempsey, I know you'll be at the courthouse all day long. We'll be checking in with you all day long. Thank you so much. Joining me now is civil and human rights attorney Gerard Felitti, senior counsel at the Lawfare Project. Gerard, welcome back. Good morning.
Morning.
What are the realistic outcomes the public could see from today's hearing?
I don't think we will see a decision today, but for the vindictive prosecution motion that's being argued is very significant. It's going to lay out what the defense sees as the irregularities in the case, including Trump's personal animus towards Comey that's being alleged as a motive for dismissing the indictment, that it was not properly filed, that there is no constitutional basis for going forward with the case. We will see a lot of arguments that are expected to be raised on the separate issue of the missteps that were addressed 2 days ago by the court.
Could the secrecy of these grand jury materials impact the defense's argument today for dismissing the indictment?
It can, but it's not likely to. The grand jury materials were ordered disclosed 2 days ago, so the defense may well have access to some of those some of that information already. But you are not likely to see the basis for vindictive prosecution in grand jury proceedings. That's not something that you usually present to a jury. That goes more to the state of mind of the prosecution and the reasons why the prosecution was brought. So that's more of a political than a legal argument, but it does have legal basis because you cannot prosecute people legally if you just don't like them.
These claims of government misconduct is yet another setback for DOJ. How do these accusations compare to other investigations into Trump's critics, for example, Letitia James?
These misconduct allegations are actually more serious, I think, than the perceived political nature of the prosecution. The missteps here with an FBI agent who looked at privileged materials and then stayed on the case and testified before the grand jury as the only witness before the grand jury, that's extremely problematic, and that's a strong legal basis for dismissing the indictment. Now, the government does not have time to re-indict because the statute of limitations has run. I think that's the stronger legal argument that Comey has, rather than looking at vindictive prosecution. Same for Letitia James or any other defendant facing prosecution by the federal government. They will look closely to see if investigations followed process and procedure so that they are not deprived of due process rights.
Gerard, explain to us, from a civil rights perspective, why is proper handling of grand jury procedures so critical in this process? What constitutional rights issues will Comey's team bring up? Or what are you anticipating?
The grand jury is really guided by the prosecution, whether it's federal or state. The defense does not have any role in it. This is not where you get to confront your accusers. This is a one-sided argument that is meant specifically to convince people to vote to bring charges. So the concerns here are that if you're guiding people with the wrong information, or as has been alleged here, by misstating the law, then you have an improper indictment and you're forcing someone to fight charges that should never have been brought. So this is a due process concern, and it's a substantive irregularity that needs to be addressed.
What should the public focus on after today, after this hearing, to understand the stakes beyond all the legalese and the legal jargon that they're hearing?
Beyond the legalese, look at what the judges are actually saying. And what they're saying is that the process needs to be followed. Even if the general public doesn't have a good understanding of what the process is, everyone knows you're entitled to have a fair trial. And a fair trial means that the information that's being presented is not fictional, it's factual, and that the law is being stated correctly. So look for what the courts say about how the law is being presented and what facts are emerging from these prosecutions.
Gerard Felitti, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate the insight today.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
Nick's here with more headlines this morning. Mexico saying thanks, but no thanks to the U.S. because they're offering to take out cartels inside Mexico. What's going on here?
So the president of Mexico is saying, you know what, Mr. Trump, we appreciate it, but we don't need you actually shooting and killing Mexican citizens within our borders. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum is rejecting Mr. Trump's offer to strike the cartels on Mexican soil. Sheinbaum says she would coordinate with the U.S. on intelligence, but foreign fighters need to stay away. Earlier this week, President Trump told reporters he's open to anything that will stop the flow of drugs into the United States, including ground strikes within Mexico. This comes as U.S. targets suspected drug boats with deadly strikes in the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific. There's a new move in the Ten Commandments fight in Texas. More than a dozen school districts now have until next month to remove their biblical displays from classrooms. A federal judge ruled against state law and is siding with a group of families arguing the displays violate their religious freedom. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton appealed a similar ruling by a federal judge back in August. And new details about the burglary at the home of Cleveland Browns quarterback Shedeur Sanders. Police in Ohio say 3 men wearing masks managed to get away with about $200,000 worth of goods in about 15 minutes. The burglary took place Sunday as Sanders made his NFL debut. Sanders isn't the only high-profile victim. Players in the NFL, MLB, and NBA have all been targets of similar crimes.
You see, my sister makes these amazing turkey sandwiches. Her secret is she puts an extra slice of gravy-soaked bread in the middle. I call it the moist maker.
Gravy-soaked bread or a little butter also works, just so y'all know what we do down south. Inspired by this famous scene from Friends, Heinz has a squeezable turkey gravy sauce for all your Thanksgiving leftover needs. Heinz says about 94% of Americans turn Thanksgiving leftovers into sandwiches, with about half adding that gravy is a must-have for that item. The sauce debuted Tuesday and sold out fast on Walmart's site. But you can ask to be notified when it's back in stock. And I asked you this question before the break. Would you pay $12 million for a toilet? What if it was 223 pounds of 18-karat gold? Does that change your mind? Well, this solid gold throne just sold for $12.1 million at Sotheby's auction house on Tuesday. It's fully functional, for the record. The artist says it's meant to critique excessive wealth within the United States. He's the same guy, you may remember, Henna, who sold a banana duct taped to the wall for $6 million. He sold it, but the point is somebody bought it.
That really is the point. I want to meet these people. By the way, if that's the most uninviting thing I've ever seen, that gold toilet, $12 million.
I completely agree. And I can still hear my family saying, oh, it's still getting bleached like every other toilet.
Yeah, we still have to clean that gold toilet. Nick Smith, thank you so much. It's time to take 2 and call us in the morning. Your favorite twin docs, Dr. I, Dr. J, are back today, weighing in on if women need more exercise than men to lower heart disease. And before you hit the drive-thru today, can eating French fries increase your risk for diabetes? We'll find out together straight ahead. And do you have a remarkable woman in your life? NewsNation and our parent company Nexstar want to make sure they're recognized. 125 extraordinary women will be chosen to be celebrated in Nashville, where they will get national recognition and an experience of a lifetime. We're calling on you to nominate any women you know who have made a change in their community and in our world. Scan the QR code, head to newsnationnow.com to nominate them so we can honor them in a huge way. Don't go anywhere.
Gold Bond believes touch says everything. It says, I see you. I feel you. And I know you. Gold Bond. Get in touch with irresistibly touchable skin.
My moderate to severe Crohn's symptoms kept me out of the picture. Now I have Sky Rizzy.
I've got places to go and I'm feeling free. Controlling my crowns means everything to me. Control is everything to me.
And now I'm back in the picture. Feel significant symptom relief at 4 weeks with Sky Rizzy, including less abdominal pain and fewer bowel movements. Sky Rizzy helped visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. And with Sky Rizzy, many were in remission at 12 weeks, at 1 year, and even at 3 years.
Don't use if allergic. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and TB. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's or UC.
Control is everything to me.
Ask your doctor about Sky Rizzy, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's disease. Sky Rizzy is also approved for ulcerative colitis.
With riots and violent looting going on all over the country, I don't feel safe leaving the house without this banana. Normally, I would be worried about this creepy guy, but I've got my banana with me. That same car has been sitting outside my house for a while now. Better keep this banana by the door.
Sounds ridiculous, right? Now imagine this banana was capable of incapacitating an attacker from over 60 feet.
At Berna, we don't sell bananas. Go to Berna.com to learn more.
It's the stackable savings sale at Cabinets to Go. Discover quality cabinets, countertops, accessories, and more. Plus, watch as your dream kitchen comes to life with a free 3D design. Don't wait, the stackable savings sale ends soon. Cabinets to Go, designed to wow.
Hey, Mom, your mouth and eyes are doing that thing again.
Not again.
Let's talk to your doctor.
We learned the uncontrollable movements are called tardive dyskinesia, or TD, and were caused by Mom's mental health medications.
Mom was prescribed Austedo XR, a once-daily extended-release pill for adults.
Austedo XR can significantly reduce TD movements, with some seeing a response as early as 2 weeks, and Mom can stay on her mental health medications.
Austedo XR can cause depression, suicidal thoughts, or actions in patients with Huntington's disease. Pay close attention to and call your doctor if you become depressed, have sudden changes in mood, or have suicidal thoughts. Don't take if you have liver problems, are taking Reserpine, tetrabenazine, or valbenazine. Austedo XR may cause irregular or fast heartbeat or abnormal movements. Seek help for fever, stiff muscles, problems thinking or sweating. Common side effects include inflammation of the nose and throat, insomnia, and sleepiness.
If you see TD, ask about Austedo XR.
Hearing loss is America's biggest health risk.
Epidemic of hearing loss.
Over 50 million people in the U.S. have hearing loss. And just mild hearing loss was shown to double your risk of dementia. Welcome to Hearing Loss in America, a multi-billion-dollar industry that price gouges. The system wasn't built to help you. It was built to milk you of your hard-earned cash. The system's been broken, but not anymore. Audien Hearing offers life-changing hearing aids, starting at just $98 a pair. They're FDA registered, audiologist backed, and based in the US. You don't have to see a doctor or take a hearing test, and they ship right to your doorstep in just a few days. This is the future of hearing. This is Audien. Join over 1 million people who use Audien every day. Audien Hearing. Hearing for everyone.
It's time to take two. Call us in the morning. Our twin doctors, Dr. I and Dr. J, are waking up with us, answering your health questions. Guys, good morning. Always good to see you, docs.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm great, better now after seeing both of you. This is actually one of my favorite segments. We have a few true-false questions. You want to start?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Women need twice as much exercise as men to lower heart disease. Just because of all the information coming out about menopausal women, I'm going to say it's true. Dr. I.
Well, that is actually false. It is the opposite. Men need twice as much exercise as women. But you're on the right track, though. It comes down to estrogen, right? Estrogen is a hormone that women have significantly more of than men. And estrogen is cardioprotective, so it prevents heart disease, helps to reduce blood pressure, the risk of heart attack, stroke, things of that nature. So by default, women have a competitive edge in that sense. However, when menopause occurs, that estrogen level starts to drop. So for men to stay healthy as women, we have to work out twice as much as women do. However, diet and exercise are important for everybody, but men need a little bit more of that exercise to keep up with you guys.
I always feel like men lose the weight faster too. Is that true? Is that?
It is true.
But it's because of our muscle mass.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
All right, true or false? Eating French fries can increase your risk for diabetes. As delicious as they are, I think there are very few wins coming from eating fries. So I'm going to say true. Dr. J.
That is true, 100%. Now, a lot of people think that French fries, they're vegetables. How are they going to adversely affect my blood sugar? And the reality is that 70% of Americans' vegetable intake comes from potatoes because we eat so many French fries. So this is a problem for Americans because this is actually true. Eating French fries increases your risk for diabetes. Now, there was this study that found that if you have 3 or more servings of French fries per week, you increase your risk for diabetes by 20%. Now, people think, well, there's not a lot of sugar in French fries. Why does that happen? Well, it turns out that it's the trans fats that the French fries are cooked in. Those trans fats are like killers. They're bad. So the trans fats basically cause what's called insulin resistance. So your insulin doesn't function properly. You can't bring your blood sugar down. So even if you're not eating a lot of sugar, the sugar that's in your blood, you can't bring it down, and you're at higher risk for diabetes. So what I tell people is ideally get a variety of vegetables. Don't just do the French fries. Don't just do the potatoes. But when you do the French fries, no trans fats. So we're talking about olive oil, avocado oil, or like they do at Five Guys, peanut oil. No trans fats in those. So you're not going to see the insulin resistance. Doesn't increase the risk of diabetes, although still not great for the waistline or the cholesterol.
So there are ways to eat French fries in a slightly healthier way.
There are ways. There's always a way.
Tiny. Okay. True or false? Using the pill and others, such as, can increase the risk of breast cancer. I feel like there's been so little research done on women, and now there is more coming out. So I will say true. Dr. I.
That is actually true. That is actually true. So we've known for a while that hormonal birth control, be it the pill, the patch, the shot, the IUD, can increase the risk of breast cancer. A study came out recently that kind of confirmed that. But the reason we're talking about it is that on the interwebs, on TikTok and Instagram, people are doing these sensational stories about how it increases your risk of breast cancer. It does, but it's not a great deal. So basically, you get an additional 1 case of breast cancer for every 57,000 women. But what people don't talk about is the fact that the birth control pill has a lot of health benefits. It reduces the risk of painful periods, anemia, PCOS, endometriosis, ovarian cancer, uterine cancer. So yes, not to mention unwanted pregnancies, which has a large social and economic impact on the country as well. So yes, birth control pills, birth control period, can increase the risk of breast cancer, but it's very minimally, and there's so many health benefits that it's still seen as being more advantageous than disadvantageous.
So the pros outweigh the cons when it comes to birth control.
By far. And of course, you want to have a talk with your doctor about your personal history and whatnot. But overall, yes, they do.
True or false? I have no doubt there are a lot of people at home drinking orange juice right now. Orange juice typically contains large amounts of sugar. For people trying to lose weight, should they avoid drinking orange juice? It is a lot of sugar. That's why I don't drink it. But what do you think, Dr. J?
I think you should drink more orange juice, Hannah, because this is false. This is false. Everybody enjoy your orange juice. So this is the deal. Lots of natural sugar in orange juice, but it's also naturally packed with fiber, which slows the absorption. So nature knows what it's doing. So you don't get a lot of the sugar from orange juice. However, what they found was orange juice is packed with these chemicals called flavonoids. And flavonoids are like these little magical miracles that will go into the cells, especially in people who are obese or overweight. And it turns on the cellular machinery that ramps up your metabolism. So 2 glasses or more of orange juice per day, especially in people who are overweight or obese, actually promotes weight loss. And because the natural sugars in oranges and orange juice are packed with fibers, you don't see a big spike in the blood sugar.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.